Hello, and welcome to The Beat, a news and talk program brought to you by the Center for Community Media at Worcester State University. I'm your host, Holly Van Wie, and today we will be interviewing Cedric Arno, executive producer at Mania TV. Hi, Cedric. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How's your day going?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good to hear, good to hear.
So we have a list of questions here today.
Okay.
And we'll start off. Can you please tell us about your background and how you came into your current position as executive producer at Mania Television?
Well, Mania Television was birthed about 1995, 96. It was because I loved this thing we call hip hop. And I came out here to Massachusetts in these small towns, Fitchburg, Leominster, central Massachusetts, and I couldn't find this thing that I loved, right? So I'm not a rapper, I'm not a DJ, so I was trying to figure out how I can get this thing that I love in me out. So I was like, all right, how am I gonna do this, how do I do this? So I was like, all right, so I had a background in doing TV production. In New York, I worked at Medgar Evers College, which is now Medgar Evers University, and I worked under John Flatteau. John Flatteau, recently, when David Dinkins, who was mayor of New York, John Flatteau was his chief of staff. So when Dinkins left office, John Flatteau went to Medgar Evers College. I got referred to that job working at the Du Bois Bunch Center for Public Policy by Dr. Betty Shabazz, who I met when she came to Lincoln University, which is my alma mater in Pennsylvania. She came there to speak one time with C. Dolores Tucker, and I met her then, brought it back up when I was at Medgar Evers College. Just sitting outside. I used to sit outside the college, and a couple of times she would get out her car and I would help her take her stuff from the car to her office. So long story short, I got the background in television doing my work with John Flatteau and the Ralph Bunche Center for Public Policy at Medgar Evers College. So I flipped that when I was out here and said, all right, I could do TV stuff. So I was like, all right, how am I going to get into this lane of music videos and get into this industry stuff? Back when they used to have albums, you know what I mean? They used to sell records. So for those that don't know, back when it was something to do, there was records. So in the back of every record was the name of the record company. So in the record company's name and address, you would get the people who produced the record and distributed the record. So I would go to like the Tower Records and all of the record stores and look at the back of the album and write every address that was on the back of the album and send every record company that was on those records a letter saying that I have a TV show and I need music videos and access to your artists. So this went on for months. The first known artist I got was Lil' Kim after Biggie passed. So that was like huge. So that was like a staple. That gave me the little cement. And then after that, I got, we interviewed everybody from Alicia Keys to Ziggy Marley.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite the list.
Yeah, we have a list. Our catalog is, you can't, the MC Hammer, you can't touch this, then you can't touch us.
You also use the name Ced Boogie?
Yes.
How did that name originate?
Ced Boogie is in '88. That started in fall of '88 when Lincoln University of Pennsylvania, the first historically black college and university in America accredited, and we used to do the dancing. That was house music time, and I was always on the dance floor getting the boogie on. So the Ced Boogie came out of me just being in the middle of the dance floor. Big up to Jamala, big up to Fever, all of these people that was, Tunji, all of us, that was house music. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with the house music scene back in the 80s, early 90s. It was phenomenal, man. The beats, the music, the overwhelming pulsating factors that got your feet moving. If you just let your whole body just free your mind and just let the rhythm hit them, so to speak. That's what we did, and that's where Said Boogie came from. And then imagine that from 88 to 2022, I still ain't leave it. You get older, they say you're supposed to lose your nickname. Never left. Said Boogie is in effect.
I was hoping that had to do something with dancing.
Yeah. It wasn't nothing about the nose or nothing, anything like that for all you nasty people out there thinking I was a little bad kid that always had boogies in my nose or something. It had nothing to do with that. It was the legs. The knee ain't working too much bad, but it was good when it was.
That's hilarious. So next question.
Yep.
Are you currently collaborating with the nonprofit organization, The Village? And can you discuss the aim and objectives of The Village?
Okay. The Village is a cultural and healing center. What my role there was, I came in with a program that I want to do. It was a stand-up comedy workshop. So the opportunity The Village gave me was space. They allowed me to come in there and put my program in their space, where we housed it for 4 weeks. We have another cycle of this, the stand-up comedy workshop coming up, and it's going to be at the April 23rd there again. So hopefully by the time this airs, April 23rd, we will be at the Village for our workshop. And if you're interested in getting to be a part of the workshop, it's for people 16 and over, youth prominently, but we do have adults that like to learn about comedy. The idea of the comedy workshop is that you learn stages of comedy, history, presence with the mic, how to set up a joke, and practice and performance and eye contact with the audience. Basically, you're building up your personal persona, your stage presence, and we give you the tools to learn it within the course, all right? And at the end of the course, the goal is that you would be able to perform. So the outcome is a couple, basically performance is one thing, and then just having public speaking, addressing those issues, building self-esteem. And also a part of it is that we shot it, not shot, bang, bang, not shot, but just pitched it to trauma training programs that currently they go through this Facebook grouping, and we pitched it to them, and they, a lot of people gave us feedback that it would be good for those that had trauma in their lives as a way for them to release it, something for them to use as a tool in their toolbox to go to process their trauma. It's like the people who put medicine, sugar in the medicine so you could take it down, but you still get the medicine, but it just takes a little bit sweeter. That's what we're using the comedy, stand-up comedy workshop to do, is to get that bond so that way people who have maybe gone through a traumatic experience can bond to the comedy and use their pain or their suffering or their traumatic experience to release it through these jokes or through this routine or through this set that you put together that you now make it a part of your healing process. And that's the opportunity that the Village gave me in signing up, that they would be a spot that we can have this. So what we're looking for now is to collaborate to bring youth in there. So I'll look to do something with, like the Worcester Youth Center, or I'll go to one of the ministries on Main Street, or I'll go out in the streets, because sometimes the people who you want don't associate with any of those things. And you just got to give a flyer to a kid and let him know that something's going on down the block. And next thing you know, he's telling his friend, because none of them do anything but stay between themselves in their Xbox, and a lot of people are in silos. COVID, the people that were siloed, COVID made them more confined to that space. And what the thing we trying to do is to bring them out of these spaces, but do it with sugar. You know what I mean? The comedy workshop is an opportunity for those 16 years old and up to get the opportunity to express themselves. You know, they may be a funny guy online, but now let's get you in the classroom. Let's give you a little history. Let's tell you about Mons Mabley. Let's tell you about Richard Pryor. Let's tell you about Cheech and Chong. Let's tell you about Joan Rivers. You know what I mean? Like, there's some people that you might need to know about that you may not know about that will help you grow from where you are to where you want to be. And sometimes you have to root yourself in some history so your roots will be solid. You know what I mean? Your foundation isn't lopsided, it's not on sand, it's not gonna waver. But if you got good roots, you know what I mean, then you'll be able to sustain yourself. And that's what we're trying to give people. We're trying to give them good roots, you know what I mean? And the opportunity that we have with the combination of the village and what they're doing with us at 4 King Street in Main South is that. The cultural part and the healing part is what the village is. Our piece of it is the workshop that we did, and the workshop that we will look to do April 23rd is the start of it again going forward. Well, the mission is great. I think it's good, but we're always looking for funding. So for anybody out there looking to contribute, definitely get involved. I'll try to leave the contact information here at the Beat. Those that are watching this, you can always contact the Beat. They'll give you my name and contact information, and then we can go forward. There's always needing for money, for funding, transportation. Sometimes we have to pay the youth. A lot of the funding services don't offer food, so we come out of pocket with that. So, you know, some of the places that, you know, you might offer us something to eat for the lunch, you know, for 5 to 10 people. You know, sometimes that is good, because that is one of the things that attracts young people to stay in your program when you feed them. So that's the other thing. You know, if we have good food, people will talk about it. Next thing you know, we'll have 100 kids there just for the food, but then we'll give them the education. We'll give the foundation that will solidify them to grow. And the other part about the program is that the instructors are comedians themselves. So you get a mentor potentially if you're looking to take it to that next step in your development, where you go from sitting in a classroom to going to open mic, to learning a routine, to going through a set. Now you're doing 3 minutes, now you're doing, 5 minutes, now you're opening headliner, and, Chris Rock is looking for you, so you can, open up in front of him, or Kevin Hart, or Bill Barr, or, you know what I mean? The list is endless for the people who get into the comedy field. And one of the things that people may not understand is that not everything is in front of the camera. You have writers, you have producers of comedy shows, you have people who direct comedy sets. You have the club owner who has a comedy club. So the things are real varied as far as how you can get involved with what we're doing and how you can take it to the next level. And it's not that difficult to get in. You don't need a GED. You know what I mean? You don't need a high school diploma to be funny. You know what I mean? You just need to show up. And sometimes that's the hardest part. But we're offering that opportunity in a safe environment. It's, COVID friendly, you know what I mean? So we don't have any barriers or boundaries for people to get involved. If we just, take your name, number, email address so we can contact you, offer you an opportunity to come and be a part of a showcase. And then, stay connected with you that way, so that way you don't lose touch, because you are now part of this networking village and this community of comics. So you can't go anywhere, because everywhere that you're touching in your social media is a part of one of them who's trying to put you on, or who you put on, or who you talk about. And so your connection always stays with like a tree that has many branches, but the roots are going to the same place.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So you organize the Frederick Douglass Communal reading each year. Mm-hmm. What is that event like, and why was it started?
Okay. The last question first. Frederick Douglass Communal Reading was started prior to me taking over. At that point, when it was initiated, the former president of the NAACP at the time started it with Erin Williams. At the time, I think she's resigning this year. She's part in the executive department of the city manager's office, all right? So they started doing the Frederick Douglass reading, which is a reading of Frederick Douglass's speech, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July." All right, that started over a decade ago. I want to say somewhere in the 2007s or 8s or something like that. Somewhere around there, maybe 8 or 9. And then the next year when the president resigned, I was vice president of the NAACP, the Worcester branch of the NAACP at the time. So they asked to do it. You know, the city came back and said, "Can you do it?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I'll do it." Not knowing that I would continue to do it for over a decade. The idea was to do it, but then in doing it, what I learned more about than anything is the relationship that Frederick Douglass had in the world. Because when I knew Frederick Douglass, I knew some of his speeches, I used him in college as far as knowing that he used the idea of education, knowledge is the key to freedom. So I did a book report, a paper about that between him and Carter G. Woodson at the time, as far as using education for black people to free themselves. You free your mind, your body will follow. You know, the James Baldwin quote is that the educated black man is basically in a perpetual state of rage, because as you acquire more knowledge, you find out how many things are wrong against you. Frederick Douglass's speech was an epitome of that, where he, in his eloquence, stated that the hypocrisy of the American citizen to say that I should celebrate your 4th of July of independence is a mockery, because you have slaves who cannot celebrate this. You have people indentured into servitude for their lives, and generations of their lives and families' lives are kept in bondage because of your perpetuation for using us for free labor to big up the country. But you want us to celebrate your 4th of July. How dehumanizing is that you tell me to celebrate your dehumanizing of me? So what kind of mental state are you trying to put me in? And not in those words, but his words are more eloquent, and they state over an hour and a half of it. And the real version, we do the abridged version, where it's about a half hour to 40 minutes to get people in and out. You know, but the meaning, the impacts, the words, the synonyms, the metaphors that he uses to get you to visualize what he's talking about. When he's talking about a slave that is down in the South, and that you can feel the beats he has taken through his words, or you can see the remarks of a chatteled person used to go in a barter system of bodies. You know what I mean? That this child is being taken away from me, and now you want me, but you don't want my child, and now you're taking my child away to use that because you need some more grain for the season, because you're not a good farmer, and you're used to these slaves working, but since you're such a bad farmer, you're gonna use my body as chattel now to get you some grain because you can't do the job. And these slaves are now losing to you because you have done such a poor job. You had to sell them off because they were your property. And the visualization that he can give you through words like that was giving emotion to people who did not have those emotions. And I think that's why that speech now resonates so much today, because not much has changed, even though the blatancy of some of those descriptive words are not as prevalent, but the meaning and the servitude that they are demeaning and that black people are still suffering still resonates with those words. Why some people still to this day look at the mockery of you celebrating the 4th of July as an independent black man, or woman or child or elder, and that this is what we have to go through to get what we have is limiting, because you're not giving us anything. And we have to take everything, and why do we have to take what we built? You know what I mean? There's not any piece of America that black people have not built and touched upon.
Great program you have there.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm happy you keep his words alive.
Well, I'm trying. I want to bring other people around into it, so that's the other thing that I need to do, is to have other people come up and take it, because as you become the new anchor person, there's somebody else that will benefit from you doing this, the way somebody else was here 10 years ago benefited from them being in this seat. You know, and that's what I want for the Frederick Douglass reading, for somebody else to benefit from their vision of what the Frederick Douglass reading could be. And I'm looking for that to take place.
All right. So last year, you organized a comedy and spoken word event with the theme, Love is the Message.
Yeah.
Powerful, right?
Yeah.
What was the purpose of that event, and are there any upcoming events like this one?
I wish I had this a week ago. We had it this past Saturday, the second annual Love Spoken Word versus Comedian Showcase. We did it outside of the village. Last year we did it at J-Mac Theater, where it was during COVID, so we couldn't have anybody inside. So that was a problem, you know. But, you know, because one of the things with spoken word and comedians is that they feed off the energy of the people. You know what I mean? If there's 10 people or 5 people or 100 people, they vibe off of that. You know what I mean? And sometimes they capture one person out of 100. Or sometimes if there's just 2 people in there, they would do that and engage 2 people. Or if it's 1,000 people, you know, they find one and they'll, you know, a heckler or somebody, and that's how they get their energy when they're on stage to keep going. And that is what we're looking to capture. I'm looking to capture that genie in the bottle, to put something like that together. We're gonna do some things, man. In the comedians versus spoken word, the idea that the theme was Love is the Message was before the January riots at the Capitol. But the idea was that there's no love. We're losing love. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people out there that, you know, they just are not. I'm from Brooklyn, so we spread love the Brooklyn way. So Brooklyn just gives it to you. You know what I mean? It's just love off top, and then you work your way out of love. You know, some people's very quick with it, but, you know, there's nothing like the extension of a hand, or like in Islam, when they say Assalamu alaikum, they're greeting you with the blessings. Like, I'm greeting you with God's blessing, you know, and that's what somebody says, peace upon you. Like, that's how you want to greet somebody, you know what I mean? Like, instead of being hostile, like, what you looking at, you know? I mean, but that's still Brooklyn too. But in learning that kind of love, you know what is missing. And I've been missing that, and that's where the theme of the showcase came out of, Love is the Message, is that we want to perpetuate goodness. We want to extend love. We want to be a light in the room. We want to be the thing that if you see that there's some problems and I come in the room, you know, that they just go away, or that they looked at differently, or that guy's a problem solver. You look at me differently. You know what I mean? Your vibe is different now that I'm in there, because my energy gives you somebody that you can look at as a result. You know what I mean? Something happened and the result was me coming in here. So me coming in here now can have an effect on what you do next. What is your next? Maybe me coming in here provides you with a next. You know what I mean? Because sometimes that's all you get is somebody else's whatever. And then me coming to help you might be the thing that boosts you up. You know, I call it the alley-oop. You know what I mean? It's just the next thing that helps out. It's like any, you know, it's a reference to, you know, if you don't know, it's a reference to people when they playing basketball, and one is the dribbler and then one is the guy on the pursuit to the basket. They throw it up, and it's called the alley-oop, because you're not taking the shot for yourself. You're taking a shot to give to somebody else. And then they take the ball, and then they do what they do with it, and it's a carry through or follow through. That's what I do. That's what I'm looking to do continually, to alley-oop to the next, whatever is the next. You know, like spoken word, first one was Love is the Message. I alley-oop to the second one, which we did this weekend. You know, now I gotta alley-oop that one to the next one, or whatever it is gonna be the next one. You know, I might just do something where I just put them on a TV show. You know, make them all, put an audience in the seats, and we just stream it live. You know, that could be something too. You know, I might even call some of your producers in here to come work on a project. You know, we pay. You know, if you want some college credits, we give you that too. But that could be something else that we could do. So those are the things that I'm doing to continue on, and that's why Love is the Message was the theme then, and the continuation of it was what this past weekend was, and what we're gonna look to do is to continue doing more of that, so that way we kind of fill the gaps for some people and give some people some shine that don't know nothing about Worcester. You know, you might not know there's some spoken word activity here. They might not know that there was some comedians here, but the comedian may be in line with you at the supermarket. The spoken word person may be at the register, and when you at Macy's, you know, you never know who you know until we put you on a stage, and that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
That's what's up.
That is what's up. I love that. How can our audiences find Music Mania Television?
For our YouTube channel, you can go to the One Set Boogie YouTube channel. We're over there. You can go online. The social media, music_mania_TV. We're right there. So we live out loud. You can Google us, where you can see some of the articles that, from Central Mass, we have some stuff in the Sentinel Enterprise. On that side, we got some stuff in the Telegram and Gazette in the Worcester area, the Pulse. So we try to touch, you know, where people are, and the people that are there, they kind of come back and touch us. So, you know, I want to big up to all of the news outlets and the periodicals and the TV stations, the podcasts, the chat groups, all of the things that go on where they want Music Mania to be a part of it. Big up to the Beat for letting us be a part of this. So, you know, we're thankful that we are living out loud, and that when we are out loud, we're putting out a presence that is kind of captivating, where the energy is more light than dark, and I like that.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It truly is.
Thank you.
So is there anything else you'd want to share with our audiences?
If you're interested in finding out more about what Music Mania is doing, connect with them. They'll get you to us. We live out loud, so if you on any of the social media pages, Cedric said Boogie Arno, you can go on the Facebook or the Instagram, Music Mania TV, music_mania, _TV. Those are the ways you can get at us. As of now, April 23rd, if you're 16 and up, looking to learn some comedy, we're going to be at 4 King Street, April 23rd. Try to get there about 9:30. I'll let you know what's going on. You have to sign a little paperwork or whatever. So that's April 23rd, 4 King Street. Those are the things that we have going on coming up, and I just want you guys to be a part of what we got going on. Cedric, like I said, music_mania_TV, and the One Said Boogie is the podcast. If you're interested in that, we're on the iHeart platform and podbean.com. So we got the iHeart stamp behind our name for the podcast. So we're trying to do it, man. If you got some funding, we're always looking for money. So, you know, Cedric said Boogie Arno, you know, if you need the Cash App, the One Said Boogie, find me on Gmail and YouTube and get at us and DM us, and we'll get back to you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for all of your insight today, Cedric.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate this, man. I thank you guys for the platform, Worcester State University. We appreciate all of the things that y'all have done in the community and that y'all continue to do. Big up to the Beat. Big up to all your, what's the class of 2024, 2025? Yeah. Big up to the class of 2025, and thank you, man. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for watching this segment of The Beat. Please remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll see you next time.